Okay, again, my name is Ms. Agape. And for those of you who don't know, agape is a Greek word describing God's unconditional love. So what I'm going to do is a couple poems from my new book called Till Death Do Us Part. This book is a testimony of marriage, separation, and how it's all brought me closer to God. It's only $15.
Only $15.
I really appreciate your support. If you like what you hear, buy a book. I have some copies tonight, and I also have some mixtapes to give out for free. All right? The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, and He has anointed me with the gift of poetry. Not just to flow, you see, but to flow through me, so that broken hearts can be healed and captives can be set free. Now I want to ask you 2 questions before I get started on these poems. The first question, I just want you to think about it. The first question is, how does an airman or a soldier, for those who don't know what airman is, fight to save a stranger's life, yet so easily walk out on his dedicated wife? Now the second question, how does a wife promise to commit, yet she refuses to ever submit? Think about that. This first poem is called What Now? Lord, I need you. I can't make it all alone. I'm looking back trying to find out where it all went wrong. I'm flipping through these pages and hating what I see. Picture perfect images of what I claim to be. Happily married to the man of my dreams, but obviously nothing is as sweet as it seems. Files and files of laughter and smiles, clips and flicks to no end, portraying the life of a happy wife. But my role is only pretend. See, I'm playing this part, not once rehearsed, like improv, scene after scene. The words "I love you" flow right out of my mouth. But tell me, what does it really mean? I mean, what did it mean to take this ring and promise forever I do if 5 years later the vows once cherished no longer hold any truth? What was the purpose of giving him my heart and my body night after night if 5 hours later uncut onions continue to feed his appetite? I cried, and I cried, Lord, please stop his sin. Until tensions came to rise and all respect died, concealing my own faults within. Words were unspoken, promises broken, and trust was a thing of the past. Wrongs once pardoned, hearts now hardened, and it all went down so fast. I didn't want to let go. I didn't want to give in. I didn't want it to come to an end, but I lost all hope when he sat me down that night and he said he could no longer pretend. Now deep down, I felt the same way, but I continued to fight the pain because I couldn't see past the shame and the possible looks of disdain. So behind a facade of fashion and wealth lay my deteriorating emotional health. With a wounded soul, I sped down the road and I drove to the point of no return, blind to any signs, warnings, and fines, or any bridges that might have been burned. Without looking back, I continued to drive with a passion ignited by lust, longing for that touch to soothe my breaking heart and ease the pain of broken trust. Deeper and deeper I fell, constantly picking up speed, desperately trying to fulfill my every want and need. Hurt turned into hate, and grief turned into greed. Temptation opened this gate to a hunger I just couldn't feed. Time and time again, I gave in to the spirit of sin in hopeless attempts to finally fill that void that lies deep within. Deeper than his love could ever penetrate, and more exciting than the moments we gave into our fate. Sweeter than his kiss right down to my thighs, and more explosive than the night we said our goodbyes. I finally get it after all these tears. I finally get it after facing my fears. Lord, I get it after all these years, but where do I go from here? Come on, God. I know there's no more do-overs in life. but I had no idea just what it meant to be a wife. And what more could I expect from a guy who never had love and affirmation from his own dad? The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. I guess it took that fall for me to finally see. It took some bumps and bruises to let God break me, rattle and shake me, mold and remake me. I know you'll never leave or forsake me, but what now, Lord? Where will you take me? Only you can fulfill my every need. So I'm ready and I'm willing to let you take the lead. Now this next one is from the second book that I'm working on, but it pretty much gives you a whole scenario of what Till Death Do Us Part Volume 1 is about. In the words of Adina Howard, I want a freak in the morning, a freak in the evening, just like me. See, I had a roughneck brother, but he couldn't satisfy me. Okay, so maybe he did, but not in the bed. Let me tell you, this brother was all up in my head, turning me on with the things that he said and telling me everything that my heart wanted to hear. Yeah, this brother molested my ear. But I can't blame him because I let him in. I let him right back into my heart once again. Sorry, this is the first time I did this, was memorized. I let him right back into my heart once again. You see, I had this void deep down in my heart that my husband could never satisfy. So when things got rough, I sought to find what I needed in another guy. Yeah, I left 80 for only 20. And evidently it wasn't about the money because my husband took good care of me. And let me tell you, it wasn't about the sex either because once again, he took real good care of me. Now this void that I had deep down in my heart is what caused us to drift more and more apart. Long story short, we agreed to split, but this split was in word alone. And to make matters worse, my husband's in the Air Force, so this breakup was over the phone. He was overseas while I was stateside, and before we hung up, it was like a part of me died. I want to say that it's the part of my brain that transmits messages that let you feel pain. Now, a lot of us truly have that desire, but pain is protection when you're walking into the fire. Pain is what tells you to turn around. It says, hey, if you keep walking through it, you'll die. But when your heart goes numb, your brain goes dumb, and you're somehow convinced by the lie that your flesh is telling you, like, hey, if it feels good, do it. You deserve a relief. But the truth is, you're really accepting defeat. So yeah, I walked away. Well, halfway. But that's a whole other story in itself. Just read Till Death Do Us Part Volume 1. Now when I walked away, that's when all the madness had begun. I can't even say that I fell into temptation because I pretty much walked up into the situation. I mean, I didn't plan it out, but I gave it some thought. And I didn't even concern myself with getting caught because, I mean, what's there to hide? We just friends. Me and old boy been cool since way back when. Funny how Satan likes to sugarcoat a lie and convince you that it's not really sin. I mean, we ain't having sex, but back and forth text to the opposite sex. Back and forth text to the opposite sex, giving hints of how I feel. And no matter how I word it, my heart can't conceal that deep down, I'm wanting more than I speak, because I'm secretly longing for a special kind of freak. A man to fill that void that my husband could never satisfy. And though I know what turns me on, I can never gratify. I could never reach that point of complete satisfaction because everything I was seeking was carnal attraction. Like I said before, my man took good care of me. But what good is great sex without intimacy? I mean, into me, you see, and I see into you. Beyond those words you speak and exposing the truths within you. I needed more. I needed so much more than he was willing to share, so I turned to the only one who seemed to care. The only one who seemed to understand what I was going through. But you know what? The trick of Satan is to use people just like you. He wants to keep you in a place where growth is impossible, because in that comfort zone, we never overcome any obstacles. See, my husband and I are total opposites, and this other guy, he was just like me. So I'm thinking, hey, this is perfect. I mean, marriage ain't working, so maybe you and I were meant to be. Fail. See, that right there is a lie from the pit of hell, and too many of us are falling for it. Marriage wasn't made just to make you happy. Its purpose was to make you holy, and it's within those conflicts where growth takes place and a spouse is developed holy. God knew what he was doing when he crossed our paths, but evidently we didn't understand biblical math. Me plus you equals more than just man and wife. You plus me equals one flesh for life. So this desire for a freak is no longer a mystery. It stems from my desire to rewrite history, reflecting the imagery of Christ and his bride. So what I need is a brother that's down to ride. A man who will push through the pain of our past and do whatever it takes just to make this marriage last. I don't need a freak in the sense of the bedroom, but a man who is gracious and reflects the bridegroom. I see now that what I need isn't something new, but for you to see what God sees in you. Because when God looks at you, he doesn't just see all the wrong you've done. He sees that debt paid by the blood of his son. So my prayer is that God will open your eyes so that you will finally recognize this man in the mirror. He's more than what you physically see. He is everything that God created him to be. I have one more. It's called I Miss You. I love you. I miss you. And I want you to come home. I know you hear me calling, yet you're still stalling. Deep down, you want to talk, but fear convinces you to walk. What? You don't think I'll understand? Just relax and let me take your hand. You can trust me. I'll never let you fall, unless it's deeper in love with me. After all, there once was a time when you would let me see what you now choose to hide. But I see deep inside. I see past the lies. I see the hurt in your eyes from all of the tears you cried. Will you let me wipe those tears away? I promise, I'm here to stay. Will you let me back into my place in your heart? I know it's been vacant all the years we grew apart. In attempts to fill a void that only I can fill, you racked up so much debt. But I'll pay that bill. I'll pay that price and put my own life on the line. I'll do whatever it takes just to make you mine. Come back to me, love. Just come home. Because you'll never find true love no matter where you roam. You're looking all around for what's right in front of your eyes. Right here waiting for you with arms stretched wide. Now this poem wasn't to my husband from I, but it was to you from Christ. I miss you. Come home. And just one last thing I'd like to add. Obviously you can tell that I do love the Lord from my poetry. I am a Christian. Absolutely proud of that. And a big misconception that I think is going around, that people think that if you're a Christian, that means you're perfect. No, that doesn't mean you're perfect. It means that you recognize your imperfections and you're looking to the one who is perfect, Jesus, to perfect you more and more each day. So what I want to do is apologize on behalf of myself and any other Christian who might have reflected Christ the wrong way, because we're not perfect. We're just trying to be like him.